day of May 2022. Please rise if you're able and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Supervisor Schneiderman.
Here.
Councilwoman McNamara.
Here.
Councilman Martell.
Here.
Councilman Bouvier.
Here.
Councilman Scavone.
Present.
Okay, we're all here.
Always.
And we are going to begin with a discussion about a village proposal on a piece of CPF property. We did initially have a scheduled item related to the housing plan, but the Director of Housing and Community Development had to reschedule that. Janice, we have a new date for that?
It's next Friday, May 20th,
Next-
at 11 a.m.
Next Friday, May 20th at 11 a.m. We're going to do a special work session. Michael, I don't know if you're here for that, for the housing discussion.
And Camden.
And Camden. We got to postpone it. Kara had to cancel today. Sorry about that. You're welcome to stay. We'll try
Or
to,
just wait till next Friday.
We love seeing your face, Mike.
we'll try to be entertaining, but, all right, so. Okay, so we are going to take up this item about Aldrich Lane planting. Charlene Cagle Betts is here. Charlene, you want to come forward? And Lisa Combrick is here, and,
He was the head of our Parks Department at the village.
okay.
So he's the person who, he's actually.
Steve, what's your last name?
Phillips.
Phillips. How
How
are
are
you?
you today, Mr. Supervisor and the town board?
Well, good, how are you?
Fantastic.
Good.
So I think we met several months ago on a Zoom virtual meeting to discuss some beautification on the corner of the jointly owned property on Eldridge Lane. The village and the town purchased that with the CPF acquisition a few years ago. And
Did the village, the village contribute financially?
no, we did not, but we are, it's a co-owned property.
Yeah.
So we do, the mayor had presented, had come to the Parks Department.
I'm
and
sorry, I'm just clarifying, what do you mean by co-owned?
I believe we're both on the deed.
We are.
Okay. I wasn't aware of that on this property.
So, so in any event, we did present a plan to beautify the corner. The board had asked us to come back with actual photos of the plantings and what the schematic would look like. Our Parks Supervisor, Steve Phillips, had gone to, over to Fowler's, met with some of the horticultural design folks there, and come up with a design for beautification of the corner. There is a power box there too, Steve?
Right, that design you're looking at right now is, it's gonna change because there's a lot of electrical. It's hard to tell in the photo. So we were just thinking about doing like a 10 by 40.
There's a big electric meter.
There's a meter there for,
Why is that there?
it powers the cameras
What is it?
on the corner of Aldrich Lane and North Sea
Oh,
Road.
okay. Okay.
So basically, we wanted to just beautify that corner with some plantings so that it doesn't look so,
Bare.
Walked it. I went and took a look.
Is there a deer issue there?
That's what
Yes.
I was wondering.
Because the hydrangeas are not going to do
I
that.
know, that's, I know. You can spare that.
It'll be a one
And how
season.
big of an area are you
We're looking to do a 10 by 40.
area in and around the power box?
Starting at that power box, that doesn't show it. I can't do the L shape because there's a lot of electrical wires in there, and there's an old well in that area.
Okay,
Come
so
to
it's
find-
just the frontage
It's
then.
from the, yeah, just the front, a 10 by 40, that's it.
It's a well or drainage?
There's actually an old artesian well there.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And speaking about wells, if this
this-
goes through, I would like to put irrigation in this
Yeah.
area.
This is the area?
The L,
The
there's a red L, but that is
Yeah, don't use,
frontage.
it's this corner, right?
This,
it's more, it mainly it's gonna be from here over, not this L shape. From this power
that's
box
the,
over.
the L.
Yep. That's the whole.
Only 40 feet long.
I think he's saying we're just doing,
Yeah, yes.
not this part.
Right, we're not gonna head down Aldrich Lane at all. Just the front
I
part.
mean, I don't, I thought there was more to this, that you guys wanted
We
to
actually
create
have-
this nursery and
No, there
At this
was,
point in time, this is-
just this
we're
one
just trying to
piece.
beautify the entrance to the,
I don't have a problem, but I have this lingering issue, as you know, with Moses Lane.
well, you'll be happy to know, Mr. Supervisor, that this evening, the board on the agenda has a resolution committing funds for the improvements of Moses Lane in the current capital plan and then in 2 succeeding years. And we did get some updated estimates. Gary Gillespie, our DPW superintendent, did get some updated estimates because I think the original plan called for about $680,000 worth of improvements. They're now up to about 900 with the current
surprise, yeah.
inflation, right? So what we were thinking in the plan was that we would start with the tennis courts and the gazebo in this current fiscal year. We were going to then apply to the town for some septic grant funding for the restrooms and do that in the following year. So I think we have a total committed of just about $1 million over the next 3 years to complete the improvements.
So we would see some work done this year?
This starting June 1st.
Starting
We
June
just
1st.
adopted our capital budget
you'd
because our
go
fiscal
out-
year is June 1st.
You'd go out to bid?
Yes, we'd have to go out to
build the tennis courts?
Yes.
that would probably end up in my lap.
And
Yes.
so we would see that construction in the fall, maybe, or?
I probably would take that
Most
one.
likely, just, yeah,
Is there anyone on the local contract that we could tap into?
I would have to look in Sourcewell and
Yeah.
check it all out.
So in that first phase would be the tennis courts and the bocce courts, or?
Tennis and, I thought it was tennis and pickleball, and the gazebo is already in our plan, our
Okay.
capital plan for this year.
Okay.
And so that was a total of $450,000 that's going to be committed in this
And then
current
phase
fiscal
2
year.
is next year? and it
Phase
will
2 is
be
next
the
year.
Comfort station?
Comfort station and the walkway to the comfort station, and we're hoping to do that after we get, receive.
When
an
is the bocce court? Is that phase 3?
I think that's probably part of next year too, or phase 3.
It seems like that would be the easiest thing to build.
It should be, yeah. Well, maybe
Yeah,
they'll,
no, we measured it all.
I think we're waiting to find out about the septic and the restroom and find out where that's going to be located before we map out everything else, so.
But your resolution has two successive years of work.
The resolution has a 3-year plan, and it's 450 this year and 250 in the other two years. And then there's a third year of 250,000, but we only adopt a 3-year capital plan.
All right,
So-
but the 450 this year is, you're gonna encumber the money out of what, surplus or somewhere?
We have capital reserve funds.
Capital reserve?
Yes.
So you have the actual dollars in,
We have money in the capital reserve account for this.
okay.
How many tennis courts?
The last drawing I
Original
saw was
plan?
3, I believe.
It's 3.
3 tennis courts?
And one of them
Yeah.
was convertible to a pickleball
Yes.
court, I think.
Okay.
I mean, that all changed too. I mean, 2 tennis courts with
But we
two
do have the
pickleball.
original Arrayas design.
And this
plan.
resolution is gonna, has the support tonight to pass, hopefully?
It does. The mayor has indicated he has support for this tonight. So it is on our agenda.
Okay.
And we haven't, by the way, we did table our capital budget. We're not, we didn't adopt the capital budget along with our operating budget because we wanted to wait until we got updated estimates for the Moses Lane improvements and how that might impact the funding for our other capital projects that might have to be stacked or delayed, deferred a year. So after this is adopted at our May 24th meeting, we're going to go back and adopt our capital budget. As
Now,
amended.
besides this beautification plan for Aldrich, is there an overall plan for this property? There's actually a number of properties. I think we own 3 properties interconnected there that run
Yes.
out, all the way out to County Road 39, I believe. And then there's 2 long fields, and you guys have been mowing them?
Yes, we maintain them once a week.
Yeah, but they look good. So is it the plan to just keep them as big grass fields?
I would like to just get color in front of it and just keep it open field.
Okay. And,
They do use it as an emergency landing for helicopters too, so I really don't want to put anything in that back part.
Can they be used as playing fields, or not really, or it's just grass? I guess you
Just
could go
grass.
kick a ball around, right?
This guy's hitting golf balls out there, but yeah. I wouldn't advise it.
How close to the helicopter?
Yeah. No, it's a bumpy ride cutting that grass. I guess it was an old potato field. I don't know.
Oh, so it's not
Yeah.
that smooth?
No.
I mean, there was a plan floated years ago for like community gardens.
That was also mentioned, a community garden there as well.
Irrigation.
Irrigation, I want to be able to put irrigation in this property too. So it's at no cost of the town, it's all on me.
But it's an FAA-listed emergency landing?
No, they just landed there the other day for some reason,
The medevac.
a medevac.
Okay, so
It's
it's
like
on the
we,
FAA radar.
yeah,
though. They have
it's
to-
gotta be, yeah.
Yeah, so they have
Not necessarily,
conditions.
not for medevac.
I mean, they usually use our Flying Point ball field,
Yeah,
so
okay. So it's not used very often.
not very often.
So, does anybody have any questions about this small planting area?
It's just small.
And the reason why you want to beautify there?
It's our main entrance into the village of Southampton.
Okay.
Any signage?
That was in the future to talk about. I mean, I could bring that up. We would like to put a welcome to Southampton Village there, but I'd like to get the plantings first.
I don't have any problem with it. I mean,
Got a lot of color. Be very noticeable.
That's the goal. That's what the goal is.
Yeah.
Instead of noticing the meter.
Yes, exactly.
I think Jay was right. I thought we saw maybe a gazebo or a pump house or something else on the last plan. Was there?
Not
Okay.
on this property.
Okay.
Got the gazebo and.
See, the goal is just to put grasses around that meter and then move that bed over, the L shape, like I said, with all the electrical lines in there. So
And you're going to maintain and pay for everything.
it'll be everything. Well, everything's on us.
All right, so we would need a resolution, Lisa, to authorize me to enter into the agreement with the village to allow for them to do the planting.
And I'd like to see the owner, just co-ownership document. I just never seen it
That
before.
might
I'd
have
like to
been
understand
the
that.
last
It
one.
is odd.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure we can
We did that
check the assessors
occasionally on
quickly,
village
easy enough.
properties.
But they usually had skin in the game when we did it. They had some financial contribution.
On GIS.
Yeah.
No, I believe it's Cologne, this piece, maybe not the other ones.
It's pre-CPF? No.
No,
So it's
no,
weird.
it's just in certain instances.
That's why I'm curious.
A long time ago,
Okay.
sometimes the properties were put in both names.
Yeah, just a little
The center
historic
property
perspective.
too, right? Is that joint or no? No?
Anyway, all right, any other questions on
I
that?
think it's great.
It's good.
Good luck.
All right.
All right, good luck
The
tonight.
6-foot-high tree might not make it,
Yeah, just,
depending on what lands there.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
thank you.
Take care.
We have the village and exec session later.
Yeah, I'll be back.
Okay. I'll be back.
Thanks.
I'll be back. I think that's it. Updates.
All right, so let's do some updates. So we have a new date for the work session on the housing plan. That's important that we move that forward. I did let Fred know too about, Assemblyman Thiel, about the passage of the trustee home rule message. Had a pretty good department head meeting yesterday over in Hampton Bays. A lot of departments are gearing up for summertime, so we got to hear some of the summertime preparations, to Parks Department in particular, which has an awful lot to do to get ready, but so does, police department, code enforcement. Other departments too have some seasonality to their operations, so it was a good meeting. Sandra presented, Len presented. Len got a nice round of applause from everybody, talked about his retirement. And, I do these department heads meetings a few times a year, ideally every quarter. So it was well-attended and a good meeting. Last night was the police award ceremony, and a number of us were there. Councilman Scavone was there, and Councilwoman McNamara was there. And they handed out a number of different awards. Police Officer of the Year went to Erica Moncada. You may remember, she's relatively new police officer. And we also swore in a new police officer, Dylan Kelly, I think is his name, and we did the swearing in of the promotion for this new sergeant, Josiah Hasla. who's now going to be Sergeant Hosler. A young guy, I think he's said he was 27 or something, 26, 27, he's young. He is now a sergeant. Well, it was a nice ceremony. It was led by Captain Kiernan. There's a candlelight vigil that's going to be held this Saturday, May 14th, 7 p.m. at Good Ground Park. It's to honor those lost to opioid addiction. We're also incorporating those lost to the COVID pandemic into this candlelight vigil. So that should be nice. The weather's still a little bit iffy for Saturday evening, but it's 7 o'clock, and it'll be at Good Ground Park in the amphitheater. Ryan, are you going to do a little COVID update?
That's what I was here for if you wanted.
Yeah, sure. So let me bring you in, and then we'll continue at other updates.
I'll take one.
Sure. Thanks for having me. Just a quick little COVID update for you. The numbers are obviously up. I think that, anybody that listens to this or is watching, anecdotally would recognize that they've seen the exact same thing through friends and colleagues and stuff like that of theirs that have reported having COVID recently. Our numbers, amongst town staff have definitely gone up. I think probably everybody on the board knows someone that either has it right now or has had it recently through friends and, family. So the numbers are up. What we're using in terms of our statistic measurement to, locally to assess what's going on is really the hospital data. Thankfully, we have a hospital right within our community, an exceptional hospital at that, who have done a great job throughout COVID so far. The data from the county health department that's on the COVID tracker on the website has been a little unreliable lately due to some technical glitches I think that they're experiencing. We had been on a track where we were at about 13,000 and change before the tech glitches happened. Then it dropped down to about 4,000 on the website. We kind of called that one out and said what happened here. And as of the other day, it was up to 12, which is still below the 13 that we were at. So obviously there's some missing reporting data in there. Therefore, the best thing that we can look at is what's going on at the hospital. As of about 48 hours ago, the hospital reported having 7 patients with COVID in their census. And I word that kind of carefully where I say 7 patients with COVID in their census as opposed to 7 COVID patients, because most of those individuals, as of 48 hours ago, that had COVID were not at the hospital because they had COVID necessarily. They were there for surgeries and other things and also happened to have COVID. All right, the symptoms of COVID weren't what brought them to the hospital, which is a good thing. One of those 7 patients was in the ICU, not intubated as of again 2 days ago. So the numbers are up. The hospital was at 0 for a while, very happily at 0 for a few weeks, I want to say at least. Then they hovered at 1 or 2 for a little while, and 7 is obviously significantly higher than that, which is representative of what I think all of us are seeing within our own communities. But the lethality of it, the impacts that people are experiencing, thankfully, are not any greater than in the past. If anything, because of, the therapeutics that are available in the hospitals now, antivirals to try and keep people out of the hospitals, the vaccination rate that we have out here, and hopefully, a good number of people that have been boosted as well. It's not causing the degree of people that we saw at the beginning of the pandemic to end up in serious condition in a hospital setting.
There's one in ICU, right?
There was one in ICU as of 2 days ago. I say that not to try and give people this attitude of like, well, I can do whatever then. It's still worth being cautious, and if you have individuals at home that might be susceptible, if your own immune system is compromised in any way, shape, or form, it's still an intelligent move to take the appropriate precautions when you're in group settings or when you're around unknown individuals that you don't know what their COVID status is. It's not it's not a bad idea to wear a mask if you're going to find yourself in a large group, or if you're, even if they're waiving mask requirements on public transportation or airplanes. It's not a bad idea that if you can tolerate it, medically, and you can wear it for a 2-hour plane flight somewhere or something like that, do it. You're in a cabin with a bunch of people that are coming from wherever, and unknown health conditions. It's not a bad idea necessarily, and certainly pursuing booster opportunities when you're eligible is still, a good idea to maintain that immunity level. But all in all, numbers are up. I guess to kind of summarize it all, the numbers are up significantly. Thankfully, it's not leading to any kind of spike in serious hospitalizations or deaths associated with the current strains of COVID that are circulating around out there. But it's not gone. It's still there. It's still something to be cognizant of and to kind of continue to make smart decisions about. All right. And COVID at-home testing kits, we continue to have them available. We'll put something out today. I expect to roll it out before the end of the day, just a press release advising people that if they need them, because of the kind of surging numbers that we're seeing right now, if you need them, we will have them available at Town Hall. I'll leave a couple of boxes worth of kits at the security desk so people can just pop in during business hours if they need them, and we'll have them available at the Public Safety Office in Hampton Bays that they can just come up to the window in the lobby there and grab a kit or two if they need them to be able to do testing at home if they think they've had an exposure, or just want to try and take some precautions if they're going to be going to an event with family or anything like that. So we do have them. While supplies last, we'll make them available to people in the community that might want them. All right.
All right, thank you. Questions for Ryan? All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan.
I'd like to, bring up the housing plan a little bit here.
Sure.
Today we were supposed to get, we were kind of going to unveil our update to our 1999 comprehensive plan, the housing portion, and I know Kara, and we had discussed that we wanted to get input from the board, incorporate it into the update to our plan, and then release it to the public. Kara couldn't be here today, unfortunately, and so what I'd like the board to do is to, I'm going to have it resent to you. I think you have, but just like the latest copy of it. If you would, please go through it, and we'll try to get something out to the public if Kara is okay with it. Before or in advance of next Friday, with something like draft all over it. But this is a week delay, and we just kind of wanted to get our ideas out to the public, and unfortunately that can't happen today, and it's happening next week. So if you would, take a look.
I saw there was, I think it was Assemblyman Thiel's legislation. I don't know the status of it, but it had to do with the accessory dwelling units. That would open up some new abilities for the town, different than the governor's proposal that didn't really respect home rule. This does respect home rule, but it allows for, I think, some tax credits or some lower, for not increasing the assessments for ADUs, and for certain loan forgiveness or something. I think loan forgiveness, if you are given the money to build the accessory dwelling after 20 years of it staying affordable, the loan is forgiven, or something like that. So we'll have to get more information on that, but that could really help us, assuming that we had some funds available.
Right.
I don't know if you saw that. That's going through Albany. It's as a counter, sort of a different proposal than what was initially proposed, which was to allow ADUs across the board under zoning, or exempt them from zoning. One other thing I wanted to mention, North Sea Harbor Inlet continues to be a problem navigationally. I just got a call before, you saw my phone rang, it was from trustee Horowitz, the trustee president. They're working really hard to get the DEC and U.S. Fish and Wildlife, everybody on board to get that dredging project going. The county is going to dredge it as soon as they get the green light to dredge it, but it's a problem because right now, if you have a boat at our marina or Strong's Marina or a private residence and you're trying to get out from North Sea Harbor, you pretty much high tide is your only shot. It's really pretty bad there. So we have a lot of people working on this. Scott seemed to feel that they were making significant progress and that we would see the dredging project move forward soon. So I'll circle back with him later.
Did he mention about the stockpiling of sand on the east side of the inlet?
Well, this would be on the west side. It would be stockpiled. We have an easement.
Well,
with
historically, we had sand stockpiled on the east side.
The
It
Talbot
didn't-
Point side, we did, but this
And we
proposal.
didn't touch it in the last,
Yeah, and it's still not being touched. So this dredging would place the sand on the Druckermiller property. There is an effort to perhaps move it further down using payloaders to North Sea Beach Colony, but we're trying to separate that out from the navigational part of this so that we can get the permit. There may be some plover concerns with pushing it down, whatever it is. They do sort of alternate between the Talbot Point side and, the west side. But they're trying to favor the west side because that's been sand-starved for years. The ECD there, the North Sea Beach Colony, has been working on procuring a pipe that will allow the county to pump further. But we ran into problems with the specs on that pipe, and that whole thing has been stalled for a while. The hope is they wouldn't have to bear the cost of pushing it down with the payloaders, but the reality is that they will, at least for this dredge project. Maybe next year, the pipe will be resolved. But it is a navigational problem. It's an emergency situation right now. I've had people with boats at North Sea Marina, Conscience Point, pretty upset. It's not our fault. We're not issuing refunds to marina users. We're still keeping their boats safe. But we're doing everything we can to get, Memorial Day's coming. I don't know that it'll be dredged by Memorial Day. I doubt it. It's probably going to be first week of June or very early in June. But, and if there are plover issues, that could delay it. But they are, James Duryea is carefully monitoring the plover situation there too. And so far, we're okay. I think they're doing a little additional fencing in that area. But the plovers are on the east side, not on the west side at the moment. So, all right, so let me turn it over to you guys for any other updates. Anybody?
Yeah, a couple Saturdays ago, Tommy John and I had a seedling giveaway in Bridgehampton and Hampton Bays. It went way better than I expected. I hope we expand upon it next year and we do it again. But I did want to say thank you to our legislative aide, Meg Zagarelli, for working with the state and get us the proper seedlings that we had and all. It was a nice day and people were very receptive, very thankful for them. Last Friday, the Youth Bureau had an art show at the Parish Art Museum. They had different groups of kids doing different medias, and they judged everything to see. And it was a really nice presentation. The wide variety of comments they were trying to make, the impressions they were putting down on paper in different medias was pretty impressive. I really enjoyed it. The Parks and Rec Department is put out their spring-summer catalog. It's online now. And their concert series is out, so we can look forward to some warm weather and getting out. And the last thing, the Parks and Rec parking lot is just about finished. So it's the first part to our Maritime Park by CPI at Hampton Bays.
Nice.
It's nice, yeah. The pavilion, did they do the
They
pavilion
haven't
yet?
done anything yet.
Just the parking lot.
Just that.
All right.
Who else?
Well, Cindy and I attended the Franca meeting last night, and it was well attended. It was their first meeting back in person in 2 years, so they were pretty happy about that. They really were quite thankful to the town board for plugging financial gaps in their budget, because they haven't been able to do the things that they normally do to raise money. You know, so we did that, and they were thankful for it. You know, they've got their signs around the hamlet, as well as the center of the circle in Flanders. Angela is going to be having a puppet show from Goat on the Boat at 20 Riverlea Avenue on June 4th. I thought Goat on the Boat is great. I took my kids there. Just kind of want to go myself. But, you know, so that's happening. And Vince Taldone retired from Franca last night. It was very nice. They gave him a nice send-off.
Great guy, Vince.
Yeah.
That building is, I think we're starting pretty soon on that Head Start building.
Mm-hmm.
Where we're gonna be.
Yeah, we did our phase one, the interior, and then the kind of where the intersection is, we're gonna capture another 1,100 feet of space for
Right, for
the
CME.
CME and Head Start
I
programs.
think that's starting soon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's been years going. Nice to see it finally coming to fruition.
All right, anything else, Councilman?
A couple of things. Yesterday, Tommy John and I had a very nice, simple ceremony to thank Laura Smith, who is our CPF Chief Environmental Analyst, who's retired, as you guys know, and it was a great meeting with the Friends of Long Pond Greenbelt. Everyone it was just one of those really nice events. It was good to see her. And there were a lot of nice words said. Our CCA West tonight is going to have the trustees, I think Trustee Horowitz and Trustee Parrish, to talk about the home rule and what that means, and so that the community can understand it a little bit better. So also we're sending Mr. Houghton, our town engineer, down to Arlington, Virginia, for the Department of Energy Summit for Better Buildings Challenge. He'll come back, hopefully back with a lot of tools to help us get to the goals that both the state and our own town government has imposed on greenhouse gas emissions and energy use. We were also recognized, went with Mr. Lieberman to Malloy College, where we were recognized by the Long Island Energy Task Force for having adopted the stretch code, which you all voted for. And that's a big deal, along with our friends in East Hampton. There's some other things coming up, but I see it's 11:45, so I'll leave it at
That's
that.
okay.
But
That's good. How about you guys?
I am very excited. I did the, once a year, the Southampton Town Police Department has a civilian academy, which I've always wanted to do, and I finally did it this year. It's 14 weeks, so it's quite a time commitment. But I greatly recommend anybody who's interested do it, because it's really amazing, the program that they put together. Lieutenant Ralph heads the program. Like I said, it's 14 weeks every Thursday night. There was a great group of people. I fully expected to go and sit there for an hour or so every Thursday night and just get a lecture. And there were some nights we didn't leave till, it started at 6, we didn't leave till 10, 11 o'clock at night. And the officers were amazing. The dialogue, I think it was the group of people that we had in the class as well, just made it a really great experience. We were all talking about tonight's graduation, and we're like, what are we going to do Thursday nights from now on? But it was a really great program. It's a really eye-opening to see what our officers deal with on a day-to-day basis. The decisions they are tasked with making are just incomprehensible until you actually get in that situation. So I would fully recommend anybody take advantage of it next year when it comes along again. And that's it.
Right, and Rick, you went before. Anything else?
Just that the school board votes in our 12 school districts is next Tuesday. This is a democracy. We have elections every year, twice a year or more if you're in a fire district. please vote.
I'll echo that. I think it's.
Can I raise the issue with the timing of these work sessions? I know that traffic can be pretty bad, trying to get here by 10. Would you, and I know this month we're gonna have to do a couple extra ones, right? So we were doing it twice a month. I think this month we'll probably have at least one additional one, right, Janice? Or two?
Yes, one next week, and then another one June 2nd, another special one. So
Okay.
you're gonna have pretty much 4 in a row.
So, I mean, do we want to do them at 10:30? Would that be a compromise? For some of you traveling further west, does that make a difference?
It makes a difference, but the more you push it one way, as Cindy was pointing out, the more it pushes the other way, so, on exec sessions, but for me, yeah, I'm a definite yes vote. It's a 45-minute trip this morning, and there was no traffic. I mean, there was some traffic, but it still was 45.
So it would help you if they were not at 10? Yes?
Yes.
Would
Yeah.
10:30 make a difference?
Can I just interject something? Excuse me if I'm talking out of turn, which was made, actually Jackie mentioned it. We're going to do this legislation, hopefully, to allow for video conference. So would that also include work sessions?
It will, but it really is, you have to have a reasonable excuse, and traffic is not considered one of the reasonable excuses for not being present. So that would
Oh,
not,
I see, yes, that you have to be here, that's correct.
you have to be
Okay.
here.
Or you have to have a quorum at present,
Right.
as I understand it.
Right.
Yeah.
No, but, yeah, if you're going to appear via video conferencing, you have to have a valid reason for
No,
doing
no,
so.
you're right.
And traffic is not considered a valid reason.
Unless you're,
Is it a problem for us to start them at 10:30? On a just every week basis?
No, it's kind of awkward. I mean, they usually start on the hour.
on the hour.
They don't have to.
They don't have to, you're right.
Okay, well, 10:37.
I'm fine with 10, so
Well,
10:30 would be fine,
At
too.
10 is fine, too. Whatever the board, just,
I
know-
come from east, so 10 o'clock is better
Yeah.
for me. You know what, because of the afternoon, the end time. I find that when we started at 11, we were going pretty late.
Well, that's
Yeah.
another thing.
Well, that's
If
part of the problem.
Yeah.
If you're going to do continue every other week, except for these special ones that we're doing in the next few weeks, the agendas tend to get long. I'm sorry. And so if you start at 11, you're going to be here
Late.
conceivably till
Yeah.
4 or 5
Let's
o'clock.
keep it
Yeah,
10.
keep it at 10, yeah.
Keep it at
I just feel like everybody else deals with the traffic, we should have to deal with the traffic,
planning
too.
board also.
No, I
Oh, and the
agree with
planning
that.
board, we would run into the
I
planning
agree with that, unless we did something like
We run into the
separate
planning
exec
board, too.
sessions.
Yeah.
All right, let's
We have
keep
planning
it,
board conflict, so.
we'll keep it
10
at
is
10.
fine.
And if someone's,
Not even sure how this
15 minutes late,
I brought it up.
so be it,
All right, so we'll keep it at 10.
Okay.
All right.
For now.
Anything else? Anything else for work session? All right, we do have executive session items, so acquisitions, personnel,
Pretty much it.
there was a village issue, but that's related to acquisition, so. Okay, so let me make a motion to end our work session and go into executive session for acquisitions and personnel.
Second?
Seconded by Councilwoman McNamara, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned.